Greetings! Welcome, Buenavu, Willkommen, and any other language you may speak. My lords, ladies, loyal royal subjects, and fans of the worldwide Queendom. It is I, His Royal Majesty, King Henry VIII of England, 6th the Musical Edition here, but also known as Jack Wright, and as well as Real Next Gen King Henry VIII on Instagram, and also Jackpot Button Lewis on YouTube. And welcome to this very appropriately themed and not affiliated by the actual show itself of 6th the Musical, the Royal International Queendom Court Fanmate 2025 launch and overview video. This quick video is just going to explain and also give you an overview and a little taste of what you can expect with something that I previously did organise this time last year in October 2024. And even though not affiliated by the musical work itself, this is all fan run by myself, as well as meeting up with fellow superfans of the musical itself, that being, as you already know, that being 6th the Musical. And due to its remarkable, incredible success this time last year in 2024 at the very famous musical theatre fan convention event that was MusicalCon at the Excel Centre in London, England, United Kingdom, due to its incredible response and also its success that I had the pleasure and honour of doing for the first time in place of one that was also scheduled officially on the weekend convention event schedule itself, I've decided to do another one, but very appropriately themed, all because due to the incredible success that this particular musical over the last 7 years or so since it went professional here in the United Kingdom has gone on to be so popular around the world. And make that, of course, with the continents of Europe and America, Australia, and even currently recently also in Far East Asia. Now, just to give you all a reminder of what this fan meet will be all about, basically it is a place where it's most importantly is going to be a safe space for loads of fellow fans from across the world, and like I said, from different countries. For example, like myself, coming from once again the United Kingdom, or known as well as that of Great Britain. But as well as that, I do remember from my last fan meet that I did of this, I even unbelievably had the chance to meet people from all across Europe, and make that even some from America. With that, of course, with the countries including of Finland, Germany, and I think as well some from other parts of the United Kingdom, Scotland, and loads more. And since I've been going to MusicalCon for now, unbelievably making this the 4th year in a row since I first went there back in 2022, I know that the musical has had a huge following once again and trending all over the world in the previous last years that the convention took place in, once again, the Excel Centre in London. And being heavily inspired by recent events such as the Unite the Kingdom march that happened in London from just a few weeks ago, and also not to mention the Eurovision Song Contest, sticking with a theme of respecting people and being proud to represent their country wherever it will be across Europe, I really wanted to embrace this international feel by once again appropriately titling my fan meet, very appropriately known as the Royal International Queendom Court Fan Meet, after originally being known as being the Royal Queendom Court Fan Meet from last year's convention at MusicalCon. Now, I said, of course, once again earlier on, this is a social fan meet to talk about, and when you finally meet up with everyone that may be hoping to join me from later on in just a few months' time, or make that even, of course, well, as of recording this, strangely enough, it's actually unbelievably only 1 month away from when this actually will take place. And it will be, once again to clarify, will be taking place on the Saturday of the 18th of October 2025, the first day of the convention event itself of MusicalCon 2025, at a time to be confirmed. But if you are just watching this at a later date, there will be a little reminder of the exact time when I find out of when the actual fan meet will take place underneath the video in the description box below it. But as well as chatting and socialising on how much of an impact that the show has had on your lives as well as myself, there will also be the opportunity to have photos with myself in costume, and as well as that, that is, of course, another important thing that I want all of you fans out there to really embrace when you come to this fan meet. If you've made a costume based off one of the costumes worn by any of the 6 queens in the show, or even the alternate costumes, including the teal, orange, blacks, and all, not to mention the very popular Silver Swing one, which has just been happening as of recently, you're more than welcome to dress up in the aesthetic or also style of any of the 6 queens from the show, and as well as that, you will also be able to be taking part in something that I'm really excited to also announce as of this particular launch video. As you can see, I'm wearing, of course, a very appropriate royal crown, as I have got a brand new version of my King Henry VIII of England cosplay, which for some of you did not know already, has become my most famous cosplay for being a super fan of 6 for unbelievably the last 7 years, when I first went to see the show, quite crazily enough, back in 2019. And unbelievably, as well as that, I know that the original West End cast, which I got to see all those years ago, they're also planning something very exciting that is going to be happening at the end of this year in December, and they are, of course, known as the band of SVN. If any of you may not know the band, they were formed unbelievably 5 years ago during the COVID-19 pandemic happened in 2020, and they were formed initially together as they put on a show through the original Catherine Howard, and I think that being of... to my knowledge, I think it was of the original Anna Cleves, and that being of Alexia McIntosh. Both of them had the brainstorming idea, and they were the brainchild of putting the band together, but they didn't have an exact, of course, band name. That, of course, initially going to be called Seven, as they reached out to their online fan base over social media in the following years when the pandemic was still going on. But when they finally did perform at the drive-in in 2021, after the restrictions were finally took down when the pandemic was still going on at the time, they also appropriately named themselves SVN, which was an acronym based off the number of 7. And I am excited to also announce that outside of this particular fan meet, I will also be going, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the band perform for the first time at that venue since they left the show back in 2019. But some of the cast actually stayed on for a few more years before the COVID-19 pandemic cut the run short, but they still managed to reopen in the year of 2022, and they were there for a lot more longer than expected on their contract. But anyway, I am sidetracking, of course. I don't mean to go off topic in that way. But due to the incredible response that I've had with the cosplay that I'm doing, I will be debuting a brand new one, which is Royal Coronation themed, which I debuted from earlier on this year at a Royal Sing-Along, of course, performance of the show that happened from earlier on this year in the month of April. And I will of course, be wearing this signature hat. There's also LED lights on it, which I'm not turning on just for this video, but I will be doing that especially at the fan meet. And as well as that, we'll be also having an entire group royal portrait of all of the people that are performing there. And if you don't know what that will look like, here's a little picture from the one that was taken from last year's fan event, and I cannot honestly still believe that I actually got the opportunity to do that with unbelievably over 15 of different people who came to the fan meet. And most importantly, I would just like to remind you that if you haven't got a ticket for MusicalCon 2025, this fan event, you can only be a part of it. That is, of course, if you have got a ticket to the event. But I will also be promoting this at the next Royal West End Sing-Along Performance of 6, which will be happening towards the end of this month in September, and that being appropriately, as I've been giving them names, as of course, for some of you do not know, I have been making a load of Six the Musical themed videos for over the last few years, due to, of course, not just me being a fan of the show, but due to its format, it's heavily inspired me to, of course, do videos themed around if it were to be a real-life talent competition and filmed like an actual TV program, and loads more as well as that. And I have had a huge involvement in the legacy of the show, because unbelievably, also going back to when we were all in lockdown from over 5 years ago in 2020, I was also part of a lockdown performance of the Song of Six with over fellow 999 fans of the Queendom worldwide, including all of the casts from the original West End production, and also UK tour, and also ones on the cruises that just finished of Bliss and also Breakaway, and the ones in on Broadway, and also Australia and New Zealand, and not to mention even the original cast from the studio cast recording of some of them that were there from the very beginning when the musical was first put together by the amazing creators Toby Marlowe and Lucy Moss. And to give them a shout out here, I would be absolutely extremely honoured to say that it's an absolute pleasure that even though that this is not affiliated in any way to your musical work, this is all done out of utmost admiration and of course love, and of course a lot of respect to the musical work itself. And I couldn't be any more excited and happier that I've had the chance to meet you, Toby, but you, Lucy, I have yet to meet you yet. But I do have to have the utmost respect for you, and I thought you dressing up as a gender bend King Henry VIII at the launch of the Pro Shot production film that was being filmed from a few years ago was one of the most craziest and bonkers thing I've ever seen. And I feel like that I might have inspired you in some way to, of course, do that when you went to the film premiere. But I would like to say a huge congratulations on upcoming productions are happening also in Spain from the start of next year. I know that you've also with the UK tour and international cast also performing as of recently in Amsterdam, in of course Holland, and also the Philippines, in of course more specifically in Manila. And as well as that, also just recently, sticking with the international theme, having the first ever in a while actually of another language production of Japanese cast of the coming to the UK from later on this year in the month of November for just a week of performances. And I couldn't be any more excited to see a cast from a completely different country and make that, of course, on my map here, just around here behind my logo, to have their, of course, their moment in the spotlight and make that spotlight, since there's, of course, 6 performers in the overall show when it comes to them performing also at the Vaudeville Theatre in just a few months' time. Oh, and I almost forgot. If you, of course, are interested in taking part, to anyone who may also be wanting to have a little memory of when it happens, you'll be more than welcome to receive a hand flag by myself, and of course, depending on where you come from in the world, it will be to your specified country, and you'll be more than happy to, of course, wave them and also hold them in for any photos during the fan meet. And also, you're more than welcome, as I said, to keep them after, even when the fan meet is over. And of course, you can maybe even use them for a future, of course, event that may even involve, of course, showing the pride and, of course, your patriotism for your specific country that you've come from. So with that concludes my launch and overview video of my upcoming, that is the 6th The Musical, the Royal International Queendom Court Fan Meet 2025. And don't forget, if any of you may be interested that may not, of course, did not know about this thing coming up, you're more than welcome to, if you do get to see me at the next Royal Sing-Along performance, don't be afraid to come up and say hello and inform me that you'd be interested in taking part in this event. Also, there is a group chat where if you like to be invited, or also follow me on Instagram, once again at the, of course, my own, that is, page, and also link that being Real Next Gen King Henry VIII. I will be more than happy to follow, of course, and add you on there and invite you to the group so you can keep up to date with socializing, and also as we organize this fan meet. And there's also a load of other things coming up as well as even though that this fan meet may only last for just an hour, but I have still got loads of other plans that, so some of you that might know me, of course, for over just my love for this particular very royal musical itself of 6, we have still got loads of other things coming up until the end of this year, and we do know that you're more than welcome to join me and my mum Samantha, as we'll be both going to MusicalCon 2025 in just almost a month's time. Once again, to remind you of the date, on the 18th and 19th of October 2025 at the ExCeL Centre in London, England, the United Kingdom. And whether if you've coming from overseas, of course, that being from America or Canada or across Europe, as you can see on my world map behind my logo, I'm more than happy and more excited than ever to be meeting up with people who I never would have thought that from wherever you are in the world, it has come to you, this musical work has come to you and has made that, of course, an inspirational and quite impactful way in your own personal lives. And I'm really looking forward to hopefully meeting you all in just a month's time. Until then, from me, Jack Wright, also known as Real Next Gen King Henry VIII on Instagram, thanks very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you at the first day of MusicalCon 2025 in a month's time, and from next month in October, from the 18th to the 19th of that very same month of October 2025. Hope to see you all there, my fellow queens. Farewell for now, and goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.
We're one of kind, the category. Too many years lost in your story. We're free to take our crown and glory for 5 more minutes. We're 6. Whoa, whoa, we're 6. Whoa, we're 6. Whoa, whoa, for 5 more things and 1 more minute. We're one of kind, no category. Too many years lost in